What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about Starfield because it sounds like the game is finally going to be at least slightly better. Now, I know some people get incredibly upset whenever I talk about Starfield. In fact, some people have called me the world's most famous Starfield hater. I feel like that stuff is ridiculous. I beat the game. I finished the main story, I did some faction stuff, I did some ship crafting, and I ended up giving the game a 7 out of 10. It's fine. I wouldn't pay for it, but I'm glad I played it on Game Pass. Well, apparently, they're finally getting closer to truly making it a fun experience. My biggest gripe with Starfield has always been the fact that it just feels incomplete. If you compare it to any other Bethesda project of something like Skyrim, which got tons of great DLC back to back to back, something like Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout, which got a bunch of huge expansions for all their games, Starfield is definitely a very different take on the Bethesda formula, and in my opinion, it's one that didn't quite work. But Bethesda's definitely not done with it. And so let's take a look at the series of statements they've released over the course of the last 72 hours about the future of Starfield, because it definitely sounds like it's about to suck less. Hi, I hope you're having a great day. If you could, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So, just a couple minutes ago, they announced that there is a May update coming on May 15th that includes tons of stuff like surface maps, new gameplay, difficulty options, new features for ship customization, and more. Now, I want to go through the entire patch notes because they're actually pretty dang substantial and they sound great. But I did want to note, a lot of people are very much initially roasting this because it is wild that even basic features like city maps are this far past launch. It's been over a half year, and now you can finally open a map. Stuff like that, in my opinion, is totally unforgivable. Also, they are confirming the fact that the first major expansion, and probably one of the few, they're calling it the first story expansion, is coming in fall of 2024, and it's called Shattered Space. Now, there has been a leak talking about Shattered Space that essentially said they're trying to make this, it's going to be sort of like a Cyberpunk 2.0 style reboot. They're going to try and very much fix and finish the game, and it sounds like they're going to also, when this is done, release it on PS5, which will be interesting to notice. But a lot of people are actually talking about the fact that if you dig through these patch notes, a lot of this stuff sounds really, really good. The craziest thing to me, I had an extremely viral tweet before Starfield came out that ended up stirring up the discourse for weeks and weeks and weeks, where I complained about the fact that the game ran at 30 FPS. It was locked at 30 FPS, and I said that seemed like a feature that was required. The fact that it did not have any sort of graphics options, that felt like a huge, in my opinion, it sounded like something that was incomplete. And a lot of game developers and stuff got mad that I said Starfield isn't finished. Well, it seems like finally they have finished this feature. Frame rate targets. You can now choose between 30, 40, 60, or uncapped frame rate. This means you can now prioritize between visuals and performance while trying to maintain the target frame rate. I'll be honest, beyond all the bug fixes, beyond all the stuff that's been completely broken for 8 months, I must admit that I am shallow and I like games to be at 60 FPS. This to me is a huge W, and I'm glad it is finally being added. I've been predominantly playing it on PC because honestly the Xbox version looked so bad. It's nice that now I can finally play it again on my Xbox and it not look like dookie. But here's the other stuff they've added that is completely new that in my opinion makes this a pretty good update. Improved surface maps. We've heard your feedback, and we've made some big improvements to surface maps, so you'll always know where you're at so you don't get lost. Okay, yes, because honestly, the surface maps sucked. The game in general is just too many empty planets already, so it seems like trying to have so many times where you are forced to wander around to find a very simple mission objective, not particularly fun in my opinion. New gameplay options. For those who like an extra bit of challenge, we wanted to make some aspects of the game a bit easier. You can customize your experience with brand new options in the settings menu. Want to make ground combat harder, but ship combat easier? Now you can do that. Okay, that's pretty cool. I've been a big fan of just trying to make extra games have extra options. That sounds pretty awesome. Added ship decoration mode to the interior of ships. You can now decorate your ships just like you can with your outposts. That's nice. Added tabs to contain your menus to make managing your inventory easier. Thank you. Added the ability to change traits and appearance after entering the Unity. Okay, that's actually an interesting idea. So you can actually alter how your character looks. That's pretty good. Added dialogue camera toggle in the settings. Honestly, this stuff sounds good, but the craziest detail that's just hidden in here is that they have finally said we're working on land vehicles. By far, the aspect of this game that personally I straight up hate, not just dislike, I actually hate, is the fact that a lot of the game was just walking in straight lines on completely empty vacuum planets. Uninhabited moons with no population, and you're walking to like click a rock. Stuff like that is so incredibly annoying. And everybody was like, why is there not a land vehicle? Why can I not drive a moon rover? Why are you forcing me to walk everywhere? Now we at least have an option to someday have a freaking car. Thank you, God. Now, I wanted to also take a look at this. This is one of the guys at Digital Foundry who is sort of weighing in on the fact that it's interesting that they finally managed to make an FPS mode for this. It's great to see this from Bethesda. As I've maintained since the announcement, these type of games have a variable load by design. A city like New Atlantis or Killa will run very different than a desertified planet, so them allowing you to choose an FPS target is great. Honestly, I am known as being the Starfield hater. I know that that's kind of my reputation because I didn't like the game, and a lot of Xbox people don't like the fact that anytime somebody vocally and carefully criticizes Starfield, they get pissed off about it. I made like a 40-minute video total. Across all my content, I've made like 40 minutes of videos talking about the game, reviewing it, side quests, everything about it. I've talked a lot about Starfield. And a lot of it has not been particularly positive because I am a Bethesda fan. I mean, actually, look at my previous Bethesda reviews. I've actually said that some of the best games for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 are Fallout and Skyrim and all the cool expansions they got. I mean, even now, I had a viral video last week talking about the Fallout 4 next-gen update. Like, I like these games, and that's why I was personally so disappointed about Starfield. But if they manage to keep updating this, if the expansion completely reinvents it, I'm going to be the first person to absolutely love it. I only want this to be as good as Skyrim. Like, I know that's kind of a meme now because Skyrim has just been selling and getting repackaged for decades, but I want Starfield to be that quality. People are still buying freaking Skyrim. That's why it keeps selling. That's why it keeps getting repackaged. If they can match that amount of quality, that amount of customization, that amount of adventure in Starfield, I will be extremely pleased to take an L. But even now in its current state, I'm excited to see this and how it actually shapes up. But these changes after 8 months, it is still a little bit goofy that it takes, man, so many months for just the most basic of tweaks. But at this point, I'll take what we can get. How about this, though, guys? What do you guys think about Starfield? Are you excited about this update? Or at this point, is it way too little, way too late? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.